Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider.
Hello and welcome back to Successful Minds. I'm your host, Patty Baronowski-Schneider, CEO of Pristine Advisors. Today I'm joined by Rahul Alim, the founder of Custom Creatives, a digital marketing agency that connects companies with their dream clients. He's helped brands such as Realtor.com, Geico, Advertise.com, Reach Local, and thousands of other local businesses. So our topic today focuses on marketing strategies and sales systems. But before we jump in, a little bit about Rahul. He's the man behind the marketing agency Custom Creatives. Aside from what I've already mentioned, he also coaches digital agency owners on building six-figure sustainable agencies. His mission is to help entrepreneurs get out of their own way by moving from an unsustainable, do-it-all mentality to building a rockstar team that gives them the ability to create an assembly line in their businesses to create growth and freedom in their business. So thanks for joining us today, Rahul.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Okay, so why don't you give us a little rundown of what people can learn from the GSD culture?
GSD, it stands for get shit done. And for others, it stands for get stuff done,
Okay.
right? So the culture just comes down to desire. Like we look for people that are hungry, not only the entrepreneurs that we help with our agency where we do all their marketing for them, but also the people we coach, because we can't really always teach desire. We can't always teach motivation. We want people to just be very hungry. So our culture is we take action, we take imperfect action, and we're going to fail forward at all times. We're always going to learn along the way. And I believe that's how most people get started, is they're in uncharted territory. So what's the best thing to do? Create your own path. What's the faster way to do it? Is find somebody who's already built that road and follow that stream down the river. So that's what we teach people, is like, don't feel bad about going into uncharted territory. That's what life is all about. That's the only way we're going to be able to grow and get uncomfortable, is so that we can live the abundant lifestyle versus the alternative of like wishing and regret.
Right. Yeah, I mean, too many people get complacent and they just go with the flow and, don't branch out, but, take chances. That's what life's about.
Correct. Like calculated risks are the only risks.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit about what tool do you always carry in your toolbox, no matter what you're working on?
Like software for my business?
Just in general, like what is it that you always make sure that you have on hand to get shit done?
The things that I always have is I always have my laptop with me. I just throw it in my laptop bag. It's no matter, even if I go to the gym, I always want to be prepared for opportunity. Right. My cell phone is a must. I mean, it's kind of like the new slogan American Express has, like, right, just never leave home without it. And battery packs and chargers, because like on this little device here for everybody, it literally is your phone, it's your camera, it's your operating system, it has all your mobile apps. I run my whole business primarily from this. Mm-hmm. And when I need a bigger workspace, I always have my laptop if I need to use my fingers and type when my thumbs don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, those are the simple things. I mean, I've written articles and blogs about like the simple tools that you can have as like the minimum viable tools just to run a 6, even 7-figure business every single year, just from the app in itself.
Wow. Yeah, your whole world. I mean, between iPhones, iWatches, iPads, you're pretty much accessible everywhere.
I know, right? And planes have Wi-Fi, so there's no way to detach. Sometimes, obviously, you can put it in do not disturb mode, which is great for like sleeping and focus. But yeah, I mean that's like the number one thing is drive, focus, hunger, and then everything is like the number one thing I see people do is they want to be light years ahead when they haven't got started, and that's preventing them from being great. It's always a sequential step. The first step is like, what do I want? And then what actions am I going to take to get there? It's baby steps to get the long steps. The shortcuts, they don't necessarily exist. Right. They can always end up being the most detrimental, because we're trying to find the fastest path to success versus the best way to be sustainable and be happy.
Right, for sure. So give us a quick rundown of what people can learn from GSD culture.
From the GSD, like what we teach is like a lot of people, whether they know it or not, I don't care if it's a dentist, doctor, lawyer, or it's already a digital marketer. You already are a marketing agency. Like a restaurant that has no customers, they're actually a chef. They're not a restaurant. They're just a chef that cooks good food that nobody comes and eats. What they need to transition themselves to is, how do I become a marketing agency for people that eat food? I need to market my business. I need to drive the traffic. I need to make creative videos or ads or Facebook ads, YouTube ads, and get my local community to come in and be aware of who we are. We can't rely on foot traffic anymore. There's way too much competition. Pandemic proved it. The internet wins every single time. If we're not on the internet, very, very difficult to build a brand or a business. So the first step is understand that marketing is going to be the number one most profitable, and it may be the most like heavily invested into to grow a business, but it is the most profitable when done well and correct. And now when it comes to marketing agency owners, we teach them how to like focus on a niche, an offer, traffic, selling systems, and delivery systems. So there are sequential pieces. The most important thing to do is be true to what you want to be passionate about. If you're uncertain, stay committed to an offer and a niche. Like when I started my business, I started in real estate. It's not because I love real estate agents or I love houses. It's because I just picked it, started it, and then I fell in love with it. Then I started enjoying talking to realtors, which not many people do. Right. So I got good at serving that real estate market really, really well. And that's what led to closing a realtor.com. Now, were there bad times where I didn't want to ever talk to another agent or broker again? Absolutely. Absolutely. I never wanted to talk to them again. But what did I do? I had to think about the people that I wanted to serve. But I also had to think about, what's the alternative? I have to start over in a whole different category, maybe a whole different offer, maybe learn a whole different skill. How long is that going to take me? I'd rather just say it's going to be hard in anything I do. Just master being good at getting hard stuff done.
Yeah. I did a video not that long ago about people, they have to start somewhere and, like you say, develop a niche. And, that's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. Like you can have several niches. Like I was working with a company who was a healthy fast food eatery. Well, you have healthy people who, are into, eating healthy, people who are, overcoming an illness, people who want to lose weight. I mean, you could your audience kind of grows, but like you say, it's not a one and done deal. You have to do your homework. You have to, and even if you copy somebody else's method, it still requires work. I said, it seems we're living in the world today of nobody wants to do anything. And, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So, yeah.
That is absolutely true. If I want to get in really good shape, I got to do the work. I can't outsource those sit-ups.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can get the blueprints for whatever it is you want to do, but then you got to learn how to operate the manual. Kind of like if Tom Brady handed over the Super Bowl winning playbook and just gave it to you and said, you're not going to go win the Super Bowl. Right. You don't know what work he put in, because chances are a playbook is already expired when the game started. It's like, here's what I predict the defense to do, and when they don't do that, I have to do something different. So that's the preparation that he's involved with. So same thing with business. We have the blueprint, but then we have to have the knowledge and expertise to be able to know how to pivot and when to pivot and how. That's
exactly true. I remember, years ago, I when I was approached by various companies who said, hey, let's work together, I would initially put together a marketing plan. And the funny part is there are about 3 of them. Now that's a lot of work, SWOT analysis, it's just a lot of work. And 3 of them were just kind of like, okay, thank you, bye. And I'm like, they basically just stole all the work I did. But the funny part is I never heard from them. If you actually knew how to do what I did, what I wrote out, I would see your name everywhere. But, so yeah, if you don't have the skills. I mean, they always say, you learn from being around people smarter than yourself. So obviously you have a successful business, you know what you're doing, you can guide companies, you can coach them, but they have to learn from you. They don't just take what you do and say, okay, we got it now, bye. It's a process, and you have years of experience doing that. And that's where, people can learn from that.
100%, because like when you're busy in your own business, like you see what your perspective is of that business.
Right.
So like other people will see from like a whole different vantage point from the mountaintop.
Yeah.
And when you're stuck in the weeds every single day with the employees, the offers, the stress, the pain, all that kind of stress, somebody up here doesn't have that. They're looking down and seeing all the blind spots. And that's really where those little tiny hinges are missing, because a lot of people are so close, right? They just don't know how close, and they don't know what that even means. So I go left, right, center, diagonal, where is it? And then you start just guessing and guessing and guessing, and nothing seems to be the solution. It's just because that's called the blind spot. And when somebody else can see the blind spot, that small little hinge just swings open such huge doors.
Yeah. And, you're the outside looking in. And that's one thing that's kind of unique about being on the agency side, is that you're not on the inside, like you say, too close to it. You're in the middle between the audience you want to reach and your company. So you kind of are the middleman to say, here, I communicate with both sides. So I know what you can do to bridge that gap. So that's like a huge advantage.
It really is. And I mean, being a consultant like you are, like I am, and many others either try to be or are, there is a lot of like responsibility and a lot of power at the same time, right? I think it's like a Spider-Man quote, maybe, like with great power comes great responsibility. But the point of the matter is, like, I've helped businesses do pretty good and big things. They made great ROI, and like you probably have as well. The thing is, like imagine if we not reached out to those people, or they didn't reach out to us, however they came across the funnel or working together. What if they went with somebody inferior? What if it didn't work out? Where would their lives be? So I look at it as, if you're good at what you do, or you want to be really good, you have to be tenacious and hungry. Go after the business, because the moral obligation is, if you don't, somebody else can put them in a bad situation or worse, or they do nothing. So I just look at it from like, it's our responsibility that we got to show up for our clients, our prospects, our leads, and offer just premium white glove feeling, because nobody wants to ever be sold. All they want to fully be is understood. We're not selling anything, because we don't know if we can help, like a doctor. And that's what I think a lot of people gain skepticism, and their skepticism holds them back, is because they think, because they had a bad experience, that has to be true the rest of their lives. But if we had a bad restaurant meal at one restaurant, we're not going to not eat at restaurants ever again. We're going to explore something else. Same thing in business. We just have to be conscious of that matter. And that's why our whole process is all, like yours maybe too, is consultancy. Like, if you have questions about marketing, ask them away, because we don't know if we can help. We're going to give you advice, and if we feel like we can, we're going to build that relationship. And once we build the relationship, we're going to build your trust. And once you trust us, hire us.
Right. And it's tricky in the marketing world, because I know some companies who do the bare minimum, or maybe, if they're a listed company, they do what's legally required, or they already have some customers and they feel that, it's sufficient. And there's so much more, especially like you do a lot of digital marketing. I mean, you could say, how much you could do nowadays that you couldn't do 2 years ago. And, people just don't know enough about it. But again, that's where the experts come in. So since you're really involved in the marketing world, tell us a little bit about the process. Like, what do you look for and how do you navigate the process?
Well, the first step is like understanding who is your client and where are they hanging out. That's like pretty much, if we wanted to just be blind and guess, they're on the internet. Now, where on the internet do we necessarily go? There's all these different social media platforms. There's all these like review, like Yelp-based platforms. There's all these like I don't know, like Thumbtack, Angie's List, all those trade platforms. So what do we do when there's so many different options? Like, we gotta, like, I would honestly just say hire somebody, because that's going to be the fastest path, because that's their job, is to basically get expertise in your field. But then number two is, I wholeheartedly believe everybody's on social media. People are on social media. Companies are not on social media. It's all human to human experience. It's the best platform out there. TikTok is going wild and gangbusters, but you also have to be doing content. Like, if you want to take advantage of a TikTok and tell somebody else's story about how somebody else went viral, don't talk about their story. Talk about how you can take advantage to be the story. Because too many people say stuff that other people are doing well when they're not doing it at all. That's not action taking. That's just watching. right? We don't want to watch shit happen because then we miss trends. We miss that hot period of time because everything's hindsight. Hindsight's the best teacher. Because when I used to work in high school, I worked as the ice cream boy at, I think it was Rite Aid at the time or Thrifties before Rite Aid. I don't know if it was the transition, but I'd have the older people come in and like basically say, how dare you, almost in their own way. It's 69 cents for a single scoop. I remember it was 5 cents or a quarter. And I'm like, okay, I don't set the prices. Either buy it or don't. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and then I found myself going in. I'm like, oh my God, the same 69 cent when I was scooping it is now $1.38. That's 100% increase. This is crazy. Who buys that? But that's just the way the world works. But go where the eyeballs go. I mean, everybody is going to be on these social platforms, take advantage of the trends. Like that's really the number one idea there is just go where the eyeballs are, and join the party, get comfortable with content like this video. I'm very comfortable. You're asking me questions. I'm answering questions on something that I know very well.
Right.
Now, what does the audience, what do you guys know very well? Do you know food very well, dentistry very well, marketing very well, consulting very well? Put that content out there, because you holding your gift back allows you to stop serving a new audience. If your goal is to not serve a new audience, then don't, then stay where you're at. But if you want to expand the business, get better leads, get better trust, get people to know you before you know them. So when they do reach out, they're already familiar with your brand and they could be hotter and more indoctrinated in what you do because you've demonstrated that you know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's the way to get in front of your clients. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, if you're a mobile oil change shop to a restaurant to a doctor to a lawyer, you're going to be interviewed anyways if you don't do content. And if you do the content, that's your pre-interview. They reached out to you through videos. I literally did a podcast last Thursday. The guy who did the podcast, I just found out, signed up for our coaching program.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was just because of content. I reached out. I had my virtual assistant reach out, book a podcast, and then it happened to be with a marketing agency. And then we had a good conversation, a good podcast, and then he joined our Facebook group. From our Facebook group, he saw a call to action post. From the call to action post, he booked a call. Then he booked a call with somebody on my team. They walked him through if we could help him. He said yes, then he moved forward. So like, that was all through content.
Nice. Yeah, because you've proven yourself. I mean, you know, like you say, everybody copies everybody nowadays. So just because they post something doesn't mean they actually know it. But having a conversation with you, you can clearly see you know what you're doing. So that actually goes a really long way.
Yeah, and it's important to get comfortable doing the uncomfortable. Like, all of us, every single human being hated video, hated being in the family photos, the wedding photos, whatever it may be. The only thing that, because why do we feel that way? It's because our ego tells us we're not good at it. But then when we actually do it, but that's the ego. That's not you. That's the ego. Why is it saying that? It's because we think our audience won't like that we didn't get a haircut, or I'm wearing a hat, or I got to put my dress on. No, nobody cares about that stuff. They actually, you'll be surprised when you do a video how much you aren't going to be good at it because you haven't done it, but then you're going to suck less every single time. But then your audience won't even know you're bad. They're going to be like, holy crap, this person knows what they're talking about. I didn't know they knew that.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, I've had people that have turned to clients that I've known for a long time. They didn't know what I did. And I'm a marketer. I'm like, what? I'm like, how dare you not know what I do? I wear a t-shirt every day that says it. But
you know what it is? You're probably like me. You spend more time marketing your clients and you never have time to market yourself.
Yeah, but that once I started doing content, like, I'm getting wild amount of like my friends from 10 years ago, like, reaching out to me. Like, I just met this morning with a Bitcoin advisory company that's doing really well. And they're like, hey, we need a new marketing agency. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I've been like, I've known him for a long time. He knows how to do marketing. He's been following my content. He's like, let's get together, see how we can work together. And I'm like, what a great way to start a conversation. A client, a prospective client saying, let's get together and see how we can work together. It's only solely because I just do content and it's simple. Right. It doesn't take a ton of time. And all I do is create a small little plan in the morning between 8 in the morning and 8:30, think of a topic, and then I go and say that topic on this phone. I just hold it with my left hand I touch the little red button, it records, I say words, hit save, and then I can post it. So it's pretty quick. It's fun to do 1-minute videos and take about 10 minutes to think of like, what do people like yearn for?
Right.
The easiest way to find yearning topics is find out what problems they're facing, what problems do they wish they could solve. Right. Then we start talking about those.
Yeah, and like you say, you know, it doesn't have to consume your entire day. You could just do it really quick, and you know, after that, you focus on everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And then ultimately, if you have a team, then you lead your team really well. Mm-hmm. And then all they need is your content, so they can help spread the message and help generate organic reach and leads.
Right. So tell me, what's changed from before to now that you are excited about?
I mean, there are a lot of talks about like AI, Chat GPT. I think that's going to be fantastic for content creation at scale. There'll be some incredible automations. I think the only kind of like danger zone of automation and AI is that people will get really, really lazy and overly rely on it and lose the human connection. So I think that's, to me, going to always be there as human connection. I think I'm surprised AR and VR has taken so long to take form, because I could have sworn like 5-6 years ago it would be further along, where you can literally go on Target.com or Best Buy or Costco or whatever website and just click on a fridge and put yourself into opening it virtually, like seeing how deep it is with your arm and kind of like experience it. But like that's going to be exciting when we pop on our Quest goggles, whatever AR VR stuff, and we can literally interact with physical product and people. That'll be fun and interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm keeping it with the marketing and the coaching as human connection as possible. All of these tools and all these systems is just going to accelerate like channels and how we can connect with people. But I think for the majority of the audience, or the majority of people, is that since people are still not accustomed to like running Facebook ads or buying stuff on the internet with marketing for your business, the gap to jump from over that to AR VR is going to also create a big knowledge gap for them to adapt to. You know what I mean? Because a lot of business owners are still going to need human services to get clients. And I love that part of the sector of the business, because if people are still buying radio and TV and they're omitting Facebook and YouTube, they're missing a huge buying audience that's significantly more engaged, more trackable, more aware, and more money. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's all about the money at the end of the day. If I pay you money, how much more can I make back? Because money is the root of all success, period. Because like without it, you can't have fun in life, period. That's how I feel, because I'd rather be able to pay the bills and go on vacation for a month than worry about it and cause stress that I don't need. So that's why I try to get people to do is just focus on, like, you want to have that balance of life. But when it comes to business, like a blood is to body, money is to business.
And like you say, with AI and things like that, they do need that personal touch. Like I remember about 2 years ago, they had this really cool thing where I download an app, and now we're having a conversation, and say it was I don't know if you're familiar with like the Jacob Javits Center. Well, they'll say, for example, a car show. So they say, well, what kind of car do you like? I'm like, well, who doesn't love a Lamborghini? I press an app, that Lamborghini like appeared in my office, like in this hologram. And I'm like, oh my God, like how cool, like you could kind of put your hand, but you know, things like that, like any company can do something like that. But again, you need that personal touch to know who are you doing this for? What are their pain points? What do they like? Why would they want to, to get it in front of the right people? So, when people all say with, ChatGPT and all that good stuff that they're going to take over the jobs, that they'll take over some maybe, but they don't have that personal touch, and that's what's really important with, marketing to anybody. You have to know, who does your business need to get in front of? And why, so, and with the advertising, I see that's like a big hesitant for a lot of people, because things have changed. Like years ago, the media, you would just, contact a reporter, they were interested in writing about your company, they would. And now it's like, 80% paid reporters. So the landscape's changed, and you kind of have to do this if you want to get your eyes in front of more people. So how do you get people to navigate into the world of paid media? Because it is right. If you invest this much, you're going to receive that back and then some. So how do you get people to realize that?
I mean, the easy part is just getting somebody to, like, demonstrating how it works, then having, like, me personally, because I'm a digital marketing person, I make videos so I don't have to say the same thing over and over.
Right.
Number one, it's to educate my audience. Number two, it's to even educate my own team and my own recruits. If I want to hire somebody, get to know who we are, because we don't want you to blindly just jump on our team or hire us. We want you to, like, really enjoy the experience that we can provide. And we just have to demonstrate, here's how the customer journey works. Here's how sales works. Here's the new way of getting found and attracted. Because, like, we can look at it from, like, a binary standpoint. Number one, just do it the way you're doing it and get the result you're getting. And if that's not what you want, because we're on this call, then number two is, if we want to get in front of traffic, we can either go call everybody in the yellow pages or the white pages. We can knock on every single door and still not find our customers. Or we can target the people who have expressed interest and buy that data from the platforms who already offer it. Because like if we go to old school, like a Super Bowl ad may be $4 million,
Right.
but you're only going to be seen for 30 seconds. What if we used $400 and you get seen by your whole local community? Would that be helpful? Would that be something you'd be interested in? Would that drive more people to your business? Right. Then it comes down to the nuances of, like, the targeting and the parameters. And then you have, like, ad copy and offers. So there's nuances that work, but the formula is the formula. The formula will work. It's a marketing formula. Now it's just a matter of, do you want that distribution? So complete strangers that would never in their lifetime ever know you exist, as far as you're not even born, as far as they're concerned. Do you want those people to know you, like you, trust you, and buy from you? That's what marketing does when it comes to paid media.
So now you do tell everybody a little bit more about everything that you do. So you're doing the videos, you do the digital marketing, you do the coaching. So tell us a little bit about everything that you do for someone who might be interested.
Yeah, so from a marketing standpoint, we offer paid advertising, and all that simply means is we go and buy media that's economical based on your situation. If you're a publicly traded brand and money is no thing, obviously we have a much more substantial program for that. For the local businesses, the rest of us, where our heart is, being a small business, we recognize that money is important. We're going to use the money as if it's our own. So we make the best possible strategy, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or whatnot. So we've spent our lives on these platforms. We spent our lives learning these platforms on how to match our ideal audience to you based on what you do. Now, we're not a good fit for every single person, obviously. Nobody is. But it's worth the conversation. So if you own a business and you want to drive some traffic and get more customers, check us out at customcreatives.com, and we can always have a chat. I have a video right there on the homepage that walks through what we do. And then on the coaching side, if you want to learn how to do it yourself and get hands-on coaching, which is literally office hours every single day and on-demand videos, everything that you can ever need or want, with live human contact, getting to know a whole community and family of other business owners. We have our coaching program where we teach people. Some people want to learn themselves, and some people want their team to learn. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on who you want to invest in, yourself, your team, your growth. But that's why we have both options available, where it's like, we'll just be your agency, do the work. You'll get a bunch of customers, or we'll teach you how to fish, and you can fish forever and get your team all trained up and scale to the moon.
Nice. So now, what's one big takeaway you want listeners to get from this episode?
The number one thing is, like, you're, I mean, I hate to sound old or anything, but you only got one life. Stop procrastinating. That's it. Because there's too many people, even some personal friends of mine, it's just heartbreaking to have them talk about the history. Like, it's almost as if George Washington is still alive. He's dead. He's gone. He's irrelevant now, right? I mean, maybe just the Constitution and whatnot, founder, but But the reality is take action with what you want. If you want to take something, nobody's going to do it for you. You got to be the one to do it and take risks, because at the end of the day, I just imagine myself, like I talk to the guy that's going to have his last breath, that version of me. I'm just looking at it as, are you going to ask for more time or more money? Right? You're going to wish you had more time, not more money. So while you're here, invest back into yourself, because you're the most important asset and tool. College may have failed you. Another marketing company or another gardener or a tax accountant, somebody let you down. Don't let that blind spot, that skepticism, hold you back from making the intelligent decisions and being scared to invest in the number one most important asset, which is yourself.
Right. Wow. No, I mean, that's actually really good advice. People don't realize, everybody, like you say, wants more money, but you don't take that with you. Take advantage of what you have in front of you now and take risks. That's what it's all about. Nice. So I'm going to post this in the end as well, but you want to tell people how they can connect with you?
Yeah. Our agency website is customcreatives.com. There's an S at the end. So customcreatives.com. And then our coaching program is joingsd.com. So both of those sites, you can get a hold of me. You can just find me on social for Rahul Alim. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, all the big platforms. You'll be able to find me pretty easily. You'll see my brand, Custom Creatives, and Join GSD everywhere.
Great. Well, thank you again for being on the show. Again, that was Rahul Alim, founder of Custom Creatives. And thanks for listening to Successful Minds with Patty B. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the show here. I'll provide the links after. And you can also listen via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Successful Minds with your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.